Welcome to We the People, where we discuss the good, the bad, and the within community, culture, and politics. I'm your host, Fallon Dee Cee, aka the Policy Princess, giving you all the details on all the latest topics. Don't forget to like and subscribe and let me know what you want me to discuss. You can also catch me every other Thursday on mixx106radio.com.
In the studio with the Princess of Powder Springs, I got Fallon McClure in here. We've been talking about the aftermath of this election and how people are looking at this thing. And you walked around yesterday, I walked around yesterday, and I saw like this look of deep hurt in a lot of people. Everywhere you went, I was at the restaurant and people just sitting there just looking and staring into space. I didn't feel that way because I like to live in real time and in the present and be fully cognizant of everything. I'm not a party loyalist. I'm not any of that.
Right.
So when people ask me my opinion, I'm gonna base it on them numbers and the facts. And if it hurts your feelings, you just hurt your feelings. People that's party driven, they were tore up from the floor up yesterday.
Right, but it's never about parties, it's about people.
Right,
Remember
and
that.
I was telling them, and I said it on the radio, and people, DCU show said it. They would hit me up yesterday. I was like, there's no way Kamala was gonna win Georgia. Why? Because the Democratic Party was fragmented. The campaign that they were running was stupid as hell. They was using the same playbook that Stacey Abrams lost with 2 times, where you going heavy digital media. You don't start your ground game until early voting start. How the hell are you going? People are already voting, and you just start knocking doors. It was just a dumb. It was.
And also, the other side had some very, good ads in the way that they were
Right.
They were bad, but
Right.
good in the, if I'm making sense. Like, they did a good job
Right.
in targeting and hitting people's fears and concerns.
Karl Rove is a master strategist. He didn't make it about Trump.
He did not. He made it about transgender people in bathrooms.
Right.
He made it about white supremacy.
Right.
Them subtle dog whistles in
Right.
there.
Right.
Yeah, because there were so many things. People did not care what that man actually said, or even if he had any real policy.
It didn't.
It was about abortion. It was about
Right.
gas prices.
Right.
It was about
Transgender.
transgender.
And they're pushing that on the children in the schools.
which isn't
which
happening, but
but I'm saying
right.
that is a real thing. You gotta you want to be sensitive to everybody, but as a parent, you gotta say, do I want this or I don't want it? I don't want it. And so
But it's still not actually happening.
right. And
But-
so right. So but they
So they made people had to make these false choices.
Right.
They're feeling like, okay, I gotta protect my kids
right.
from the boogeyman.
Right.
But the boogeyman is really like a Scooby-Doo episode, and it's Trump in the
Right.
is the ghost.
And
but,
that's all they needed.
Yeah.
That's all they needed. And then the final piece, I think, which was the cherry on top, came in April. Boy, did they come with. In April, when they unleashed that Project 2025.
Well, it was actually released well before April. I think that's when
They started promoting it.
people started really realizing it.
No, Trump got on an airplane in April with the author and the publisher of Project 2025. They took pictures, it went out on social media, and that started the I'm with this guy and his ideas. Never denied it in public, never accepted in public.
Well, he said he didn't know what it was.
He didn't know what it was, but he was strategic. And when he did that, even the guy that did the interview yesterday, he said that manifesto had everything in it that was good for us.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that again.
But
To all the Democratic strategists out there, they endorsed a manifesto that had all the good stuff in it for that white voter that's on the fence. If you roll with us, this is what you're going to get.
But also, like, that manifesto, wasn't new.
Okay.
Right? It's been expounded upon and everything, but like this goes back to Reagan and all that. Like they just added. That's that's why I keep saying they was playing chess while we was playing checkers.
Right.
They long-term strategy, like literally. When they realized that they couldn't be segregation today, segregation tomorrow, segregation forever anymore, they decided their main issue would be abortion.
Right.
And then they went to the evangelical churches, got their lists, and made it like that wasn't a thing that was even being preached about. Like they tied abortion to Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they actually are doing Christian nationalism, if we want to be real.
Right.
But they tied it to Christianity and made it this whole thing, right?
Right.
The reason they chose that issue because they had to choose something else. They're like, okay, we can't just be blatantly saying, we can't be like Strong Thurman at the door no more.
Right.
Like,
Right.
That's not like, so that Project 2025 is the newest iteration of the playbook. Like they've been trying to implement these policies for a long time.
Long time. I just, I love strategists. I love the way that they think. And I was just tracking Karl Rove and their movements. And I thought that the Democrats were outmatched. In Georgia, I'm speaking for Georgia. And it showed in the numbers. They beat the crap out of the Democratic Party in Georgia. And they beat them, and it wasn't even close.
We've known, though, that they lacked a sufficient infrastructure.
Right.
That is a big problem.
Listen, Karl Rove said it on Fox News in May. He said Georgia Democrats are the worst organized of any party, any state party in the country. We're going to win Georgia. When he said it, he went down point by point, and I was like, this dude is accurate as hell. So I'm sending out telling people, y'all got to do blah, blah, blah. And everybody's, oh, he's a shock jock, loudmouth, ghetto-ass dude. Don't listen to him. That guy was right, and I was right to tell y'all that you were not going to beat them because they were going to use your strategy to a T because you're disorganized. Mm-hmm. You're very disorganized.
Disorganized and underfunded.
Wow.
Like, part of being organized is putting resources in, right?
Right.
You have to have the resources to organize.
Right.
Yeah.
So you said they don't have the resources.
Yeah, they ain't got no money.
Right. Well, it's over. With this type of mentality, I think they don't stand a chance in Georgia. And I'm going to tell you why, because nothing that Karl Rove said that I was like, this dude is preaching. I listen to conservative radio, conservative television. I listen to liberal television, liberal radio. I listen to all these different voices to try to find where the middle is, right? To see where everybody's coming from. And I'm telling people that won't listen to those voices, you need to listen to those voices, right? Karl Rove said, and he said, blacks and Latinos are going to continually disassociate themselves from that party because they just want your vote, they want you to be afraid, and they don't never have anything to offer you.
Right. It's like...
He said Project 2025 has something to offer the baseline Republican voter. What does the Democratic Party has to offer their voter? The baseline voter in the Democratic Party is the black male and black female. Black female vote at a higher rate than anybody in the Democratic Party, right? Then second to her is the black male. What do the Democrats have to offer the black community other than fear?
That's my point too, right? Like I've always say in any type of race,
right?
A candidate has to have a platform. You can't just be anti the other candidate, right? And you're never gonna win,
right? No
matter if we're talking city council, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. You have to have your why. Mm-hmm. And so Noah, my friend Noah, stand for me sometimes. Right. She always laughs, and we were talking about this the other night because one of the first things I always ask people was like, "What's your why?"
Yeah.
And so, like, you have to have a why that's separate than the other guy is just terrible.
Right. I love that.
And so, that's unfortunately what we saw from party politics was just like,
he's just
so
terrible.
bad, you gotta vote for this other person, right? And that's never gonna win. But what I did see, and what I am proud of, is our other organizations stepping up to do a lot of this work, right? Whether it's Working Families Party, Black Voters Matter, Rep Georgia, even on the national level through their C3, when we all vote, like, our organizations, and then in the city of Atlanta, Center for Civic Innovation, hosting all the forums and still making sure people knew that, you know, there's a municipal race on this ballot too that's going to impact things, right? Like, it was important for, like, our partners did a lot of work in filling a lot of voids. Georgia Youth Justice Coalition, so many more, Asian American Advocacy Fund, BMI, Black Male Initiative, like, they were out here on the doors having conversations, and like BMI's conversations weren't just like, oh, vote blue. They were like, hey, you know, what's going on? You know, have you ate? How can we help you? You know, how when I talk about we gotta build the foundation and get people to, you know, the baseline so that we can then bring them in. That's what, like, real organizing is. That's what the real community work is.
But I gotta deal with this. Black politicians in Georgia are tone deaf.
Yeah.
The Democratic Party in Georgia is tone deaf. They don't hear anything except their own ideas. They don't hear anything. And if you're not a party loyalist, what you're saying is foreign to them. They don't hear anything. They came back and said, we're going to dust off the Stacey Abrams campaign and we're going to run the same damn campaign against this monster.
Well, the other thing that they're doing too is they have a habit of employing people with experience. So they bring in consultants, right? That don't know the landscape. A lot of times they from DC or wherever else to run things, right? And so these consultants then are telling people what to do, but these consultants, they have experience, but they ain't never been on winning campaign. Right? And so
they had Hillary Clinton's person the last time.
But and so my thing is, we're also bringing in people that they also have, a lot of these consultants, and not all of them, there are some good consultants, have their own motive, right? Because to them, that's how they make their money, right? And so, like, when you have when you were talking about all the digital and heavy digital, them folks get paid off of all them commercials and all that digital, right? So, of course, they're going to say, we should do this, right? When you're getting 20, 30% of that.
Right.
So, like, that's part of the problem. Instead of listening to the people on the ground, the people that are doing this work 365, not just on an election cycle, that's how we end up how we are.
Right. And that's exactly how we end up where we are. I want to bring this local.
Yeah.
I want to keep it local for a minute. I want to talk about the elephant in the room, and that is black politicians and why we are not winning where we're the majority everywhere in this region. Give me your opinion to why is it counties, and I'm not going to call them out specifically, but the majority of the counties that make up Metro Atlanta are either half black or damn near all black, right? And most of the politicians are African American. And we don't see prosperity at a level that it should be around this region. It's the most unique region in the country for African Americans. What is it that black politicians lack or is not doing that's causing us to stay behind the 8 ball?
Ooh,
in your
that's
opinion.
A loaded
I want
question.
you to give it to them. I want you to give it to them.
You know, you be making people mad at me. That's why people be saying I'm mean and stuff. But for the record, like I say, every time, it is not.
I've been waiting on you to come back and get to them, though. I've been waiting.
It is not personal. It is about the liberation of our people.
Come on.
That's always going to be my line.
Okay.
It's not personal.
Right. I love it. Go ahead, pal.
It's about the people. Our people.
Right, our people.
My people. Your people.
Right, let's go. Let's get into it.
they gonna have a picture of me.
Right, they gonna have a picture.
It's out, like, you trying to get, woo.
Yeah.
But, so I think people in Atlanta get caught up in the pomp and circumstance that is Atlanta.
Right.
And the like access to power and glory and the glitter.
Right.
And not wanting to offend certain people or some people, this is my friend or whatever. And that ends up hurting the causes, right? Because we, based off the makeup and where these politicians say they align, we should have some of the most progressive policies.
Right.
You know, whether that's, you know, some form of basic income, that like the way they kind of doing the reparations stuff in California, where they're giving,
or in Evansville, Illinois.
yeah, and other places where, you know, they're giving people $1,000 a month or whatever to help. You know what I'm saying? We also know that Atlanta is the most unequal for people that are born here and their ability to rise out of poverty.
Right. The wealth gap is one of the widest.
The widest wealth gap, and it's like if you're born in Atlanta and born into certain zip codes, even though you're like, you can see it, right?
Right.
But you can't get to it.
Right.
You know what I mean? We should be doing so much better, right? But I think the focus is on the galas and the balls and
not really doing the work.
and the talking points where it sounds good. Like a lot of times, oh, we're doing all this affordable housing, but the affordable housing, if you look at the actual AMI percentage for the affordable housing, affordable to who? People that are dual income households that make $200,000 a year.
Right.
It's not affordable to someone making $30,000 a year.
Right.
Or they say, oh, we have a certain percentage of affordable units here, and it'd be like 6 units in a 200 unit complex.
Right. Right. Right.
People from here can't afford to live here.
True. Fallon, the fastest growing population of homelessness in America are black seniors. Because they're on fixed incomes. Yep. There's not enough public housing for them.
And then the ones that are in their homes, instead of even being able to age in place and, you know, their homes, because we're putting up, you know, sky rises and multi-million-dollar homes next door to them, their properties, you know, they own their homes, but their taxes are going sky high.
Right.
And now they can't afford it. Or you have like the whole eminent domain situation you had over there. What was that, Peoplestown?
Right.
Where you had under Kasim that was like taking people's homes, and then like, but then we look at stuff like the Gulch deals and all the things where all kind of people were getting kickbacks.
Right.
But then we look at like the flooding and stuff they just had. Right, because you're allowing all of these new buildings and stuff to go up, but you're giving so many people these tax credits and breaks, but you're not making sure that they have to put into the infrastructure.
Right.
And make sure, you could have made it where they have to pay a certain percentage or whatever to maintain the piping and the other stuff, right? You can put conditions on this stuff, right?
Right.
But we just out here being like, we just giving it away.
Right.
And so we love to say like, #1 state for business and, you know, and all the film stuff, right? Because you give all these tax breaks that don't benefit the people that actually live here.
Right. Georgia, you know, I got to keep it local. I think Atlanta, Metro Atlanta, in my opinion, what has to happen is we have to have a purge of all
the people.
Of all, not the people, of all of our elected officials that's not working in lockstep for our progress.
That's a lot of people.
I know, and it's got to be a purge that goes. We got to get in a mindset that we must get to equality and fairness and a fair shot, and we're not gonna get there playing games with people. Because based on what we believe is going to happen, based on the moves that this new administration is about to do, there is not, you can almost guarantee that there's going to be none to little to none monies coming down from the federal government to help anybody in certain zip codes. And so if you don't have a robust leadership plan on the local level, I hate to say it this way, but you asked out. Why? Because in the state that we live in a red state.
Yeah.
The majority of the politicians that make the laws and the rules don't look like us.
Correct.
And we got a governor that says, let them be sick. We're not building new hospitals or opening new locations in their community. We're not going to feed them in school. We're going to cut them off from this money.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a commission or a city council that is robust, that's working those tax dollars on the local level to give you an advantage and give you some type of shield and protection from the state and the federal, let me tell you something, black people.
No, we too busy over here trying to not let people's voice be heard and not put, the referendum, the Cop City referendum on the ballot, right?
Right.
We too busy over here trying to dismantle the policing alternatives diversion program. Too busy trying to make it part of your legislative agenda for the Fulton County Commission to make them, to try to get the state to make the city sell you to jail, instead of doing what you can do
right.
to reduce the population and to fix the current facility, right?
Right.
You over here trying to get them to sell you a jail that even right now with 700 beds, your operational capacity is only 400 something, and you don't even fill those up.
Right.
So like the priorities
right.
of these bodies,
these elected
are out of
officials,
whack.
these elected officials.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The priorities are like, we now more than ever need organizations like the Policing Alternatives Diversion Program.
Right. Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Right.
We should be expanding it.
Right.
Not open up special procurements and making it harder for them to deliver their services.
Right. But here's what I want to do though, Fallon, and we're going to talk about this on the other side. I got to take this break. I want to not even make it about personality conflict. Let's just make it about the
Yeah.
nuts. No, nuts and bolts. Let's just make it about the money. PAD saves taxpayers what? A whole lot of
money.
Saves us a whole lot of money.
Right, because it's like between $78 and $97 a day to house someone.
Right.
Versus you can get them resources in the community.
Right. With the PAD program, it may cost us $5 a day ankle monitor, right? If we
They're not on ankle monitors.
I'm talking, if we have the diversion program and they're
I'm never going to advocate for ankle monitors.
I know, but I'm saying that would be $5 versus $80, $90, $100 a day.
Correct.
Let's just make it about the money. If we could go to $5 a day versus $100 a day, which one is better for the community? It's the $5 a day. We gotta have people that we put in these positions that's working to get us the best results for our money. And I don't think we got that. We're gonna talk about that on the other side. I got the princess from Powder Springs.